The man and woman descended the stone staircase together into the thick darkness, with only a torch to light the steps ahead. The woman was a royal, known for her fierce dealings with her kingdom's enemies, and her gentleness to all who called her kingdom home. The man was her protector, her guardian. Without his help, she could not be as gentle to her subjects or as shrewd towards her enemies. The king was throwing an elegant ball in his stone castle, yet there were people still missing from the party. It was up to the pair descending into the darkness to find those missing and bring them up into the light. The two descended into the darkness, leaving the light and the laughter of the ball above. It didn't take long before the pair came upon someone huddled in the dark on the edge of a dark stair. The torchlight revealed a young face, belonging to a girl who barely wore a rag for a covering, her face smeared with dirt and tears. She had been trapped in the darkness on this particular stair for some time now. She longed to ascend of the darkness and join the ball above, for it sounded lovely. But she could never ascend alone. She was too weary, too weak. The royal knelt down beside her, wrapping her in her arms, covering the young girl with her cloak, crying tears of healing over her, whispering truth into her ear and beginning to tell stories of what it was like to live in the light, where the king throws elegant balls. The man stood with the torch in his hand, his face full of compassion and deep love for this young, frightened girl. His lips were moving, but uttered no sound. If one were to look closely, the royal woman was speaking aloud the silent words coming from his mouth. She was putting sound to his words. In reality, she drew all of her strength from this man. It was why she only descended the staircase with him, and not alone or with anyone else. She would be trapped herself on her own dark stair deep in the oppressive darkness if it were not for him. The royal dried the tears of the girl. Her protector stooped down and picked up the girl in his arms, laying her head on his chest. He now spoke softly to her as the pair ascended the staircase up towards the light, up towards the warmth and safety of the king's ballroom. The pair would descend into the dark staircase again, but for now the girl in the man's arms would need rest and learn love up in the light. This is a parable I wrote to sort of describe my contribution to mission. This is how I see myself engaging with the world. Even the verse, it's John, 12:46 says, I have come into the world as a light so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. Definitely see myself and my walk with Christ as coming alongside people who are in darkness. And darkness is a specifically very vague word. When I think of darkness, I think, human trafficking and slavery and the awful stuff. But also, as I am learning to be a therapist, all of my clients sit in some sort of darkness. And darkness is as dark as anyone thinks. And so I can sit with someone or hear someone's story, and if it's dark to them, then there's a darkness that Jesus wants to rescue them from. So I can encounter anyone on the streets. I can talk to any of my friends. With my clients, I know my vocation isn't, me as a titled therapist, but if I'm not operating under the title of therapist, then what I'm still doing when I sit with people and I hear their stories and point them to the light of Jesus, this is me fulfilling my mission, what I'm created for, and how I see Jesus moving in the world and encountering people on whatever journey they're on and really lifting them out of the darkness, and really being his light. And I don't necessarily have to evangelize to do so, but there is something about sitting near a source of light. So I'm human, completely fallible, and full of my own darkness at times, but because I am in Christ, that does mean I am a light. I am that lamp. And so just acknowledging that I can be a light and people can sit with me and feel a light. And it's not me, it's a light coming from Christ. So that's my mission. It comes in many different forms and looks very different, but I think that's the beauty of it because it's not tied to a specific vocation or place, but I'm just constantly looking to see people who are in darkness that need some light.